right. Okay. All right. So everybody find their seat. I don't know why. There's something about that phrase. Find your seat. I think it's because it's like in such a gentle way, as opposed to the way we may have heard it when we were like in elementary school. Go find your seat. You know, it's such a different kind of way of hearing that. And now we're like, find your seat, and it's something we actually are like doing something really good for ourselves. So I don't know. Maybe I'm dating myself and the way the teachers may have been back in the day. But all right. So we find our seat, and what that means is that we are arriving, we're stepping into something really sacred. And that's, there's like the paradox of meditation. You're stepping into something very sacred, and you're just coming to sit on your cushion. No big deal. And we use the word mystic. The mystic is the kind of seeker that is looking for a direct experience of that peaceful place. It's like they're looking into the mysteries of life. Not everyone needs to be a mystic, but it's just the way that we approach our inner journey is like we're doing it deliberately. That's kind of what like the mystic is. Um, and so when we come to our cushion, we do that with such a beautiful deliberacy, if that's such a word. And yet at the same time, we come to it with a completely, we let go of everything that led up to this last time we may have done this. We let go of it and we come and sit like we're just sitting. No big deal. It's me here in this place. So I offer to you to do the same, to hold both the beautiful sacredness of this moment and the simplicity and simple, no big dealness of it all. And we close our eyes today, if you feel comfortable doing that. And you can open your eyes too if you want. And it's interesting, there are different traditions of meditation. When we close our eyes, it helps us to kind of close out some of the distractions around us. It helps to draw us inward. But there's also traditions, even in Zen itself, for those who meditate that way, that meditate with their eyes open to encourage being in the world and not turning away from the world. So for you, you can practice that either way you choose. If your eyes are closed, choose a inner gaze, meaning either focusing through and out the third eye area up between the eyebrows, or gazing at the heart as if you're kind of just, kind of paying attention to the sensation in the heart center, the center of the chest. If your eyes are open, you're looking softly at one point and not jumping around, looking from thing to thing to thing. And here's where we arrive together. Here's where we arrive as a community. And this journey that we take, although it often feels like it's very solitary, it's our own journey back to ourselves. It is truly impossible to take that journey without your community. For it's your community that reminds you of who you are and kind of shows you where you're blocked to love, where you're blocked to, knowing your own self. It's in the way that they push our buttons, in the way that things affect us around us that we can then take into our meditation and process. And we breathe together now, in and out through the nose, if the nose is available to you. And make that first beautiful breath a deep inhale. Hold for a second. When you're ready, let it go. And feel that, maybe do a couple of those, feeling it reverberate through your whole system. We're tuning into this inner space, which again is paradoxical because we're not going inside of a physical thing. We're really more just bringing our attention out of time, away from the things that brought us here, away from the things that you may be going to do after this, and coming to this very narrow moment of the now, breathing. And as we draw ourselves closer to this very narrow moment in time, simultaneously it can feel very expansive. So our inward gaze and our inward journey is both kind of closes in and yet expands at the same time. And our theme this week, continuing, showing up for the practice even when you don't want to, even when it's not easy. You do that today. And I invite you to just turn up the sides of your mouth a little tiny bit to honor that you're here. And that is something to be proud of, that you showed up today, to give yourself this gift. So if you're able, you're feeling it, turn those outer edges of the mouth up just slightly. And the chin tucks just the slightest bit so that the top of the head kind of feels like it's floating from a string. The back is straight, the shoulders are slightly back, maybe down a little. Freeing the center channel for your breath to be able to move in and out. Taking a very brief scan of the body at your own pace, like just start from the bottom and kind of notice up from the bottom up to the top of your head. Is there any place you're holding onto any tension? Is there any place you're, kind of tight? Or as you do, just take a breath and let go a little bit in any of those areas. Give you a little bit of time to do that for yourself. And after you've come through that brief scan, just a brief scan of the body, take your gaze again and see if you can, as you breathe, kind of become aware of your whole body as one complete energy field. You might even sense the space around the outside of the body, like at the surface of the skin, or even just beyond that. We have a vibration, almost a magnetic field that surrounds us. And as you breathe, I invite you to surrender to it, to sink in more deeply. Pay attention with all of your senses, the sensations, the feelings, the sounds, the smells that are around you right now. Allowing all of it in, allowing all of it to be just as it is, without trying to change it, without needing it to be different than it is. It's a great orchestra, a symphony that surrounds you, a feast of the senses. Even when we get quiet, we're never truly quiet. Even when there's no sound, there's still sound. Sound of your own breath, sound of the fan in the room, the refrigerator making a noise, or a car going by outside. Take a moment now, maybe a minute of silence. Pay attention with all of your awareness to everything that's audio around you, the sounds. And then the smells of the room without judgment, again, without needing to change it. Noticing, is there a smell in the room that you can discern? And subtly as you pay attention to it. And the sense of touch, what does the air feel like, or your hands or your body feel like, where it's kind of speaking to you? What does that sense bring as you pay attention and breathe? Developing your presence even more. And then even if your eyes are closed, what do you see? Perhaps the patterns of the light on the back of your eyes, the lids. If your eyes are open, what do you see? Or if you have visual stimulus, things that your mind is creating visually, what do you see? Any of that is open and available to you. Just notice what's presenting itself to you and observe it for a moment. Taste, touch, smell, sound, all of it, all of these senses. We have them all, and we use them to collect information, oftentimes to make judgments. But when you just watch them without judgment and allow them to be, they become doorways to this moment. They become doorways to openness, ultimately doorways to healing and to knowing yourself. So just a couple more breaths here as you use all of your senses to take in your whole environment. Perhaps even as you do that, beginning to open your eyes. And don't look necessarily at the screen, at us, but maybe beyond it to the space around you. And with just a few breaths, feeling, hearing, smelling, tasting, feeling, all of it at once. Knowing that this is a state of true presence that you develop when you exclude nothing. And coming back to us here, I thank you for joining us again on our third week as we move together. I offer you my thanks, my gratitude, and a namaste. Namaste.